It's really interesting. So we'd had this conversation 2.5 years ago, and you said, or 2 years ago, what's the ideal team size? I would have told you 12.
Yeah.
Now I'm running a project at the moment with 500 people across 2 different countries. And
wow.
there's a team that I'm working with at the moment. They're running a session on Thursday, 60 senior leaders to do a half day when they come for their strategic away day as a senior leadership group. They're doing it with 60 people, and I've helped the leadership group run a session of 90 people. I also work with teams of 4.
Okay.
So like the spectrum is so huge. There's no. I think the question I've realized is not to ask what's the ideal size, but what's the challenge, and then how can these cards help that group of people? It's sort of flipping it a little bit. It seems counterintuitive, right? Because I should be able to sit here and go, it's perfect for this group of people. But what I've learned over the last 2 years with all the amazing people are using it, because there's way more amazing people than me using this pack of cards, and I'm pretty upfront with people. More talented, more inspiring, more incredible, and I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from me. And they've got more courage than I have, because they pick the cards up for the first time and use it with 60 people without even having played it before. And it took me 2 years to get the confidence to run it with 60 people, for instance. But so there's not necessarily an ideal team size. There's just there's more of what's the challenge we've got, and how can this conversation be used to help solve that challenge. And so for that 500 person company across 2 different countries, Australia and New Zealand, they wanted to do a traditional values project. But the more we got talking, the more they started to believe in my philosophy in terms of starting with defining how we want to feel, then having a conversation about behaviors, and then articulating the values, instead of the traditional approach, which is articulate the values, then talk about behaviors, and not talk about emotion in the workplace or how we want to feel or not feel. And so they bought into that idea, bought into that philosophy. And so now with 26 teams across 2 different countries, we've run 26 workshops to uncover the things that people in this organization want to feel and not feel. And so now we're going back to those teams and going, okay, this is what you've told us. This is what we think the themes are. This is what we think the emotional culture for our whole team should be. Now let's explore the behaviors that are going to reinforce that emotional culture. And then the final step we're going to do in a couple months' time is then do the creative part, which from the branding world we're used to, is going, okay, now how do we actually create some values that sound compelling and resonate and are going to be great storytelling mechanisms inside and outside. So like that's, for example, how we run it with a 500 person company. Then with a 60 person company, so this is KPMG here. They're one of the big 4 consulting companies there.
I know them.
They've got their strategic away day on Wednesday, and I'm helping them plan a 60 person leadership workshop. They're going to use the cards from a change perspective. So they've gone through a massive bit of change. They're at the start to, I'm going to call it start to middle of that change. And the core question they're going to answer in that strategic away day as a leadership group is, what do we want to be? What do we want our people to feel and not feel through this next period of change? So they're specifically creating that question to frame up how they're going to use the cards.